All right, good morning. How we doing? Welcome back. Did I see it's Chef's birthday today? Happy birthday, Chef. How's everyone doing? Welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, man. I'm excited for this weekend. That's for sure. 2 shots of espresso? Espresso. Yeah, I had mine. It's empty, though. No more. No mas. No mas. Bonjour. Welcome back. Rangers won. Oh, yeah. Big Rangers win. That's a big one for them. Didn't look too good in the first period, but came out hot second and third, so good. I actually have a bet I made a few months ago. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull it up. I made the bet for the Rangers to win the Eastern Conference. Let me log in. Let me see how it's looking. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully good. See if I can pull this up real quick. Or if it's not. I don't know if I remember my password or not. Yeah, it was like plus 500, I think. So hopefully they win the conference, man. Yes, some nice downside here this morning. That 18.6 level on the NASDAQ futures rejecting very nicely. So a little bit of downside. We're getting that pullback. This is definitely a necessary pullback in my eyes. That 18.6 level is such a clear rejection yesterday afternoon on the NASDAQ. This was a concern of mine for some further downside, and it looks like that is happening. So to be expected. Definitely we saw that 18.6 level fail sort of end of day yesterday in the futures, and you are seeing that rejection sort of come in here right now. So yesterday we failed back under that 18.6, under those pre-market lows, and we can see we've just been stuck under this level all morning, and here in the pre-market as well. We have come back down to our 18.5 level. So we are on our sort of slow pullback. That is, I think, good, right? Sort of necessary after that big FOMC move. And we're going to have to be watching some of these downside demands today. So far, a pretty clear pre-market, pretty clear rejection on that NASDAQ. I think we do have Jerome Powell speaking at like 9 a.m. today, which could be sort of interesting in the pre-market as well. So we saw a lot of those fails to move higher. Yesterday morning, we saw that downside under 18.6 on NASDAQ futures. And this is just sort of that pullback that I think we want to see to set up some better entries. So far, so good. Still have some of my swing trades in place, so I'm giving back some profits on those, but that's fine. If I have to give back some profits here, I'll probably lock majority of it in today and just sort of go cash over the weekend. That's sort of my feeling as of now, but we shall see how this day proceeds after this pullback in the pre-market. So let's see. All right, 805, 804. Let's press that like button. Let's subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So economic calendar. We have that Jerome Powell 9 a.m. That may be a little bit of a movement on the market here. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Right here, you guys can see 9 a.m. today, Jerome Powell speaking. Maybe some volatility at that time, so let's see what the market does at that time. Besides that, it's some other FOMC members speaking, 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I don't really expect that to do too much, but this 9 o'clock one probably has some impact, so let's keep an eye on that. Next week, to start the week, did someone say Monday the market's closed? Is that true? Hold on. Let me check. Let me just double check here. March next Friday. Next Friday. Okay, next Friday. Good Friday, next Friday. Heading into Easter. That's when the market is closed here. Let me go into this so you guys can see right here. Good Friday, next Friday, March 29th, market's closed. Then we got Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I love these days. I love when there's a market closure, man. You get that extra day. You get that 3-day weekend, man. I love it. So next Friday, we got markets closed back here. So you can see that's interesting, though. Markets closed, and they have PCE on the docket. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but yeah. All right, so that's that. Earnings today, we had yesterday we had that FedEx, which moved up very nicely. FedEx, strong move on earnings. What else did we have? We had Nike and Lulu. Lulu, I think, down post-earnings, so we can go to that real quick. Lulu, down on earnings. I guess not enough yoga pants for the woman. CSQ, okay, so soft revenue forecast looks to be the biggest drop there for Lulu. Just not a good forecast, and you can see the drop that came in. FedEx, big pop, and Nike, a little bit of downside there. All right, so let's jump into our levels. Let's jump into what the market is doing this morning and get a sort of view at the current action that's going on. So we can see yesterday that fail back under 18.6 was very important. We failed back under these levels are a little messy here. Let me delete that one for now. We failed back under these highs, right? That was very key there. We had this 18.6, we had this 18.6, and we failed back under that yesterday afternoon. We saw that 18.6 level turn into a rejection point. So right here, sort of end of day, you saw the NASDAQ fail under 18.6, tried to come up above it, and it just could not get back above to close the day. You can see we've been under that 18.6 this entire pre-market, and we finally got that sort of slide back to the downside off this level. So very clear there on the NASDAQ as to why we're rejecting this morning on the futures. The pullback levels that you're watching here today, the first one that I'm watching is this 18.5 area. 18.5 right here, you can see 18.5, 18.5, and that's the level that we're sitting in right now. So if we do not hold this 18.5, right, if we do not hold this 18.5, I think this could get more aggressive, possibly back down to that 18.4, right? Between 18.5 and 18.4, you really don't have too much. You really don't have too much support in here. So if we do drop this 18.5 and we start to see it fail today, right, there could be some nice downside trades towards that 18.4 today. All right, so 18.5, a big watch early morning. That is going to be very important this morning as we approach the trading day. So right now you can see it's attempting, right? You can see these 5-minute candles right now in the pre-market. Look at right here, right? It's attempting to try to do the dance as we speak at this 18.5 level. In my opinion, you don't want to discount the possibility of this holding, right? Don't get too excited to the downside just yet, because this should be a pretty important level in the futures, and this should be I would assume it definitely has some strength in it on the intraday today. You have an 18.5, you have 18.5 here, so I'm definitely going to be watching to see whether this is a little pre-market downside that creates, right, sort of that maybe bear trap into 18.5, and then see if this does result in a bounce. We'll have to see, right? Way too early to sort of judge that now. We are definitely weak into it, so it's a little too early to sort of get too strong-willed on that idea, but that is a possibility that I would be sort of watching out for today. This is a big level here as we pull back to this Wednesday high, as we pull back to these levels that held previously, right? Back here in early March, we had an 18.6 rejection into 18.5. We had a pop back into 18.6. We had a pullback into 18.5, which resulted in another pop-off into 18.6. So we definitely have the possibility of this 18.5 holding and maybe popping back into that 18.6. That is something I would be sort of monitoring today. If we get a very clear rejection, which I think will be easy to spot, right? Because what you're looking for here at 18.5, if you want to play downside today, there's a very clear thing that you're looking for. You are looking for the market to mimic this right here. Okay, so take a look at this action right here, right? Very closely look at this little action in this box right here. Look at what it did at 18.6. Look at what the price action showed at 18.6 yesterday intraday, right? Pay attention to what this did right here. You can see we had a drop under. We had pops back into and wick rejections. Pop back in, wick rejections. Pop back in, wick rejections, right? You can see the market definitely showed to you, hey, I cannot get back over 18.6. This is going to be a tough level to break back above. So if we see this type of reaction, right, if we see this type of reaction here today, then we will definitely know that we can try to catch that next downside move, right? So wait for that type of consolidation, that weakness to step up under 18.5, and then I think you can probably catch that downside move, right? So that's a nice clear read, and that's exactly what I would be looking for if you want to play that 18.5 rejection today. TB, Rangers, Bruins 5-2 until next time. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to probably see each other in the playoffs, man. So best of luck. It really was a 3-2 game, but the Bruins got a little aggressive on the pulling the goalie, and 5-2 end the game. But yeah, close game for sure. Quick had a really good game. So you can see, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that type of rejection, that failure back above. That's what we're sort of trying to spot here today to get confirmation of that next downside move. Okay? That would be, I think, a very nice short. I think that would be a very nice short today if we can get that very clear failure of 18.5. I would like to see, I'd like to see that very clear failure below this level to get that shot for that downside move towards this 18.4. All right. QQQ, I think it's this 444 level, right? And we can see, look how clear the 447 showed us yesterday. Look how clear the 447 was showing us yesterday. We have the 447 previous levels here. You can see yesterday we failed under 447 and we could not get above it all late day into close, right? Look at this right here. If we zoom in on the 5-minute chart, we can see the market definitely proved to us saying, hey, I'm under 447. I can't get back above it, right? I'm failing to get back above it. I'm failing to get back above it. I'm failing to get back above it. And that is causing that little slip this morning. The pullback level that I'd be watching here is 444, right here. 444, 444. And that's likely where you see that QQQ come down into. And then we have to see what is the reaction at that 444. Are we building a flag, right? Are we building this flag for the next upside move off this retest long, right? That's still a possibility here? Or do we break under 444 and do we need to come back down into the 442? Okay. We can see that the 20 SMA is increasing, right, as price action moves higher. And maybe you need to wait for that 20 SMA to sort of catch up to price action again. We need to have this market pull back a little bit until we hit that 20 SMA again before we get another long entry. So good pop, nice little pullback, very clear fail under 447 yesterday. Nice result of that towards the downside. It's a very explained move here going on this pre-market. You can see right here, we have that 444, and that is exactly where your eye should be this morning. So I would be eyeing this 444. What happens in this zone today? This is not a great short early morning back in the 444, right? The good short was the rejection of 447 into the 444. That's a quality short. But now, as a short, if you're looking for the downside, you do need to be careful of getting too aggressive down into this 444. If you get a pop back in the 447, that's where you could re-look for that short entry. I would get a little bit cautious shorting back into these levels here, right? You can see right here, 444 and 444. So just a little bit of cautious there. Risk reward has sort of gone away as we've already gotten that move off of 447. If you can get that break under 444, then your risk reward makes sense again for a move into 442. All right. So very clear levels here today. 47, 44, 42. Those are your levels on the Qs. ES. All right. So the ES, like I've been talking about, I still, right, at some point, I can 100% guarantee at some point, I don't know what time, I don't know when, but at some point, the ES will come back down to retest the breakout point. That is just how the market moves, right? We've popped. We will at some point retrace towards this 5250, and that's where we can maybe look for that new long. But at some point, the market will want to retrace to the breakout point, which was 5255, 5260 area. The market does not typically just squeeze up and just keep going, right? We usually get that retest, and then that's where that big decision is made. Is that today? I don't know. That would be a very aggressive drop. That'd be about a 0.75. I mean, it'd be a 1% down day, right? Pretty much. If you think the SPY drops 1% today, that would bring you to your retest level, right? A 1% drop on the SPY today on the ES brings you back to your retest level. If that's what we see today, then you'll probably end the day near this previous demand at 5250. But that's going to be really the key spot there. For now, I'm watching this 5290. You can see it's that previous close right here on the ES around this 5290. And the key right now that's happening in the pre-market is the fail under 5300. Okay, so if the ES stays under 5300 today, I would not try to long anything. I would personally want to see the ES get back over 5300, hold back above it to feel confident on trying to long something today. Okay? I would not long something if the ES is under 5300. That is a very clear previous low that we are trading under right now. And there's really no reason to be trying to long back into this supply. Okay? I would want to get us above and prove that it can hold before trying any type of long action today. So 5300 is a very clear level, clear psych level, clear everything. Previous reactions here, clear psych level. That's definitely the level you want to see us back above for any type of long entry in the short term. If we break under 5290, and I'm going to zoom into this 5-minute chart, this is 5290 right here. That's sort of that high from Friday, or I'm sorry, that's high from Wednesday, post FOMC, right? That's that 5290 right here. This would be my next level to look for if we keep pulling back. All right, so let me go into the current price action. Whoops, 5290 would be that level of below that I'd be watching. Okay, so 5290, 5300, very clear two levels on the ES here. If we go to the SPY, let's go to the hourly chart. Like like we talked about, that 518 pullback is definitely something that is possible at some point in the future, right? You can see 518, 518. At some point, this SPY is going to want to fill this, this upside gap, right? It's going to want to fill this, come back down to that retest, and that's probably your best long entry in the future, right? In the future here, your best long entry is most likely off of 518. But for now, we can't just expect that to happen in one day. For now, we watch the 522, right, which is equal to the 5300 on the ES. Let's go ahead and make this red. And what I would be looking for today is, does the ES come back up into 520, or the SPY, does it come back into 522 and reject, right? Or do we get back above it? That's very key today. Do we get back above the 522? Do we get back above the 5300? Or do we see that turn now into a clear rejection point? If it does, that should likely signal to more downside. All right, if we fail back under these levels, if we fail back under 522 today, I would expect the weakness to stay in. Okay? The weakness likely comes down into that into like this, similar to ES. It's like this Friday high. I'm sorry, this Wednesday high. I keep on saying Friday. It's like 520.6. That's sort of where I'm expecting us to maybe see a little bit of support there on the SPY. This Wednesday high, this little this after hour low, it's right around that 520.5, 520.6 area. That is right here. So if we get a bounce here in the short term, right, this is going to be the major watch. 522 on the SPY. On the ES, we need to be back over 5,300 for any type of feeling that the bulls can regain this action. If it cannot get over 5,300, if we cannot get back over SPY 522, it's a little bit questionable about the strength of this market in the short term. NASDAQ, you can see, is still trying to battle at our 18.5, right? This is your next battle zone right here at the 18.5. All right? That's really the futures right there, guys. It's a pretty clear day on the in terms of levels. What's the Russell doing here? Russell just sort of failing again at these supply highs. It's like this, 2130 area, 2125. It looks like 2130 really came in yesterday, 2130. So that's still just sort of a heavy area here on the Russell, 2130 on the Russell. Dow Jones, yeah, I mean, a huge push on the Dow, and is a pullback warranted? Probably, right? Probably. Let's look at some short-term Dow levels here. Yeah, I'd say like these lows around, it's like what, 40,000? Dow 40K. Did we get Dow 40K hats yet? Dow 40K looks to be a clean level right there. Definitely something I'd watch there. Dow Jones, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, who knows what the hell's going on with that guy. SOUN getting destroyed? Yeah, I mean, it's a penny stock, guys. What do we expect? All right, I think that's pretty much it for the futures. We got that done pretty quickly, just because of how clear it really is here today. It's going to be all about that 5,300. I think it's going to be a lot about this 5,300 here today, guys. A lot. It's going to have to do with whether we reject this 53 or get back above it. Same with the SPY 522 and very clear NASDAQ. Very clear NASDAQ 18.5. If we drop that 18.5 today, I would expect the downside to continue. Okay? All right. We'll check back on these futures shortly, but let's get into some stocks. Tesla. She's going down still. She's still weak. What was key yesterday? What was the key yesterday on Tesla? It got back under that 174 area. And it just failed to get back above it, right? We tried to hold that 174 early morning, some of these previous levels. We failed under it. We just could not get anything back above it, and we are now turning that supply back into rejections, right? So this level, it tried to get above it. It had a very miserable attempt at holding above, and you can see after failing back below, the downside continues. So Tesla, still under pressure, still absolutely weak versus overall market. You can see we're back under that major supply, back under these lows, back under these lows, back under some of those highs. And after failing back below it, you can see that the weakness came in. 15-minute chart shows us a little bit of support here, but nothing I would trust to long this, right? I would not look to long Tesla today off this level, but there is a little bit of support to be watching here. You can see right here, this 165 level. You can see it was a previous high, previous low. There was some reactions at this 165, and so that's where you're starting to slow down on this downside, 165. Okay, so I would be careful shorting Tesla into 165. This could be a little pre-market drop that people try to sort of short into demand and it sort of goes against you. I would be careful of this 165. If you can get under 165, right? If you can get under 165 and really hold below it, that would be my next short towards that 160, right? So under 165, I like it. for downside, right? I like it for downside under 165 if you can get that move today. Without that, to be careful trying to short into this hole. 165 could be a level that sort of just maintains, and maybe Tesla just starts to channel here, right? This could become a little channel. This is very possible for this just to become a little channel here on Tesla between 165 and 175. About a 10-point range here, right? About a 10-point range between 175 and 165 is possible. So just be aware of that 165 shorting into it today. If you get under it, I like it for more. Nvidia. So you guys know I was in Nvidia from Wednesday. I've gotten a nice push higher on it for me for the position, and still very profitable on the position, which I'm happy about. But it's a little bit questionable about whether I want to continue to grind this thing out. I like the break that it's had of this trend. I just don't know how I feel about the semiconductor sector. I'm still trying to get a feel for it. It still feels a little like you're not getting that brute strength that you were previously. It's not quite the same as it was. That sort of that just willingness to move higher, just not quite there. And yesterday, you definitely saw that 924 level step in pretty hard, right? You saw that 924 level step in pretty aggressive, and Nvidia just could not get over that level. So it's a little questionable. The reason why I'm still interested in upside is in the short term, right? If I look at this short-term chart, I am still interested in the upside because of this right here. This right here is why I'm still slightly interested in the ability of Nvidia moving higher, of course, depending on the market. If the market sort of slips under 18.5 today, if the NASDAQ breaks under that 18.5, I do not expect Nvidia to hold on, and that is likely where I get stopped out of this play. But you can see for now, right, you have this previous high right here from Tuesday of this week. You have this high on Wednesday at 905. That 905 level, after that aggressive pullback early morning yesterday, held like a champ, right? Look at this right here. We went from turning 905 from a rejection into a very strong support. So in my eyes, as long as Nvidia is above 905, it is in a higher low situation, right? It's in a higher low situation. This was your previous channel, and this is your new channel. So I'm going to be monitoring today and seeing if Nvidia can hold over 905. If it can, I will consider continuing to hold my position, right, for possibly another push up into that supply high, into that 925 area. If Nvidia drops under 905 today and starts to reject it, guys, this is where I would absolutely be looking for some short entries, right? If Nvidia fails back under this level, fails back under yesterday's lows, and starts to turn it into a rejection point, that is every reason in the world to look for Nvidia to fall back down into the demand around 880. So definitely a watch at 905 today. Very clear level. Pay attention to what Nvidia does at that level today. Big time. AMD, still weak, man. It tried to hold over that 184 like early morning yesterday, but just slipped right under it. Had no signs of support. So you guys know I was very interested in potentially longing AMD over 184 yesterday. You guys heard me talk about that on the live stream, but look at this 2-minute chart. Right? Look at the open. So we had a big drop off the open. We had the second candle of the day, the second 2-minute candle of the day, did not even think about 184. It did not even consider a hold, right? It didn't do any of this. It didn't try at all. It didn't try to show anything, right? If AMD would have tried something here at 184, I probably would have taken it long and I would have lost on it, right? But look at how this candle just sliced right through it. It had zero reaction to 184. And so this saved me from taking this trade because I didn't see a single thing at that level, not a single attempt of a hold on the 2-minute chart. And after failing back under that 184, look how clear it failed to get back above. All right, and I know some of you guys in the chat actually took AMD short yesterday, which was a great trade. Right? Look at how clear we got back under 184 and failed to get back above it. That right there is a beautiful entry point, right? We have a key level. We have a fail under it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, 10 minutes of rejections at it, right, and a follow-through move. That is a beautiful short entry right there, and congratulations to those who took that. That is a really good example of how to find entries. Key level, break under, wick rejections at that level, and a beautiful follow-through. All right, this is sort of what we look for. It's the same thing on the upside. All right, it's the exact same thing on the upside. If our key level, if this was what AMD did yesterday, right, look at this. We have our 184 key level. We have a squeeze above it. We have pullbacks back into that level. We have wick demand holds, and we have a beautiful upside continuation. All right, so this strategy, the break and retest, works on both sides. Yesterday, it was to the downside, under 184. Very nice stuff there. Still remaining very weak. This is a concern for me for Nvidia. I think, the fact that I'm seeing some of these semis just have no juice is probably a reason why Nvidia can't move higher, right? AMD is back under that 184. It's back in this 10-point range, and hard to trade today because you're not going to be short into this 175. I don't see a reason to be trying to short into this low. If AMD can pop back into 184 and reject again today, that would be your dream short, right? You'd like to see a pop and fade around that 184 level to get that really good short entry. I would be careful just shorting it into the lows. You could get that sort of reactionary bounce. If you can get a clear hold under 174, right, then you can look for that re-entry. But don't just short into lows. If you're going to try to short into lows, right, if you're coming down into a low, you're always going to want the pop and fade, right? You're going to want this. This is what you want. You don't want to just short into a low. You want the pop and fade. If you don't get the pop and fade, then you're going to look for the drop under the low and a rejection of the low to set up that entry point, okay? What's next? Let's go to Microsoft. Because Microsoft has been a great long. We long this thing on Wednesday off 421. It held very nicely yesterday, and it did hold above this previous high, right? It did hold above this previous high around this 428. You can see right here. It pretty much held it all day. But a little bit of market downside today. I don't expect Microsoft to do much if that market is slipping. And it's probably going to end up breaking that 428. But this is the level to watch on Microsoft right here. 428, 428. You can see previous highs turned into lows yesterday, which made me hold Microsoft overnight. But you can see today, market downside coming in pre-market, causing a little bit of pressure on Microsoft. If you break under 428 today, I'm most likely a profit taker on my swing trade. And that will be that for that trade there. So 428 is the level to watch on Microsoft today. Yeah, SMCI. Man, this could be an interesting one, right? This could be an interesting one. I need a little bit more market confirmation before I go heavy on this, but this is intriguing on SMCI, guys. If you think that SMCI has entered a downtrend, if you think that the market has started to, the market needs more downside, if you think the semiconductors are on sort of their back-end move, this is a very intriguing $1,000 rejection stepping in here. You can see 1,000, you can see 1,000, and you can see 1,000, and you can see again 1,000. You've gone from holding 1,000 as support to turning 1,000 into rejections. That's a very clear flip on SMCI. Not only that, you have 1,000 and the 20 SMA sitting right above price action. So you have the 20 SMA, you have a psychological level, and you have previous major rejections and support at this level. Rejections here. This could be a really nice rejection play off 1,000 on SMCI. You're going to have to be careful. It's a crazy stock. It's a very wild stock. It is not for the faint of heart. This is not for your $1,000 portfolio. This is for, your 50, your 30, your 40, your 50, your $100,000 portfolio. This would be a big trade and a very dangerous one, because if the market does flip today and you short SMCI here, and the market flips, right, off that 18.5, and this thing could rip, right? It could rip in your face. And so you have to make sure you're careful with this type of trade. That is a very interesting rejection, though, and it is definitely something I'd be eyeing to see if it sets up. Very clear levels. That 1,000, very clear level, and the daily 20 right above. I think this could be the move into 800, but you gotta get a little bit more confirmation here. TSM, you guys know I took a little long on TSM yesterday. It looks like it's not going to work out for me unless the market really reverses here. I liked this 139 level, 140 level to try to hold on. I liked it to try to create a higher low here, right? This would be a very common, right, sort of move here on the market. But as of right now, market's a little weak, and we're going to need a very strong reversal here in the pre-market and the intraday for this to work out. But I like the possibility of this breaking this previous low, right, breaking back above these highs, and then coming back down, turning it into a higher low, right, and then continuing higher. That's definitely something that I'm looking for, but I'm going to need market strength. And right now, I'm not quite getting it. You can see that 139 level is trying its best to hold on, but without market strength, this is not a possible trade. This is a trade that will break down. Let's see what happens at the 139 level today on TSM. MRVL, really nothing there on that one, just trading sideways. I'm trying to think of all the semiconductors. Qualcomm, yeah, I mean, it popped a little bit yesterday. Maybe a drop back into 168 is what you're looking for here. AVGO, rejections up at that 1400 yesterday. Nothing really there. All right, let's continue. Meta. So Meta, very interesting. 505. Right? Meta popped above that 505 yesterday, consolidated most of the day above it. We are watching today what happens at $505 per share. This is going to be very major for Meta. Does Meta turn, and it could be, right? The thing that's sort of difficult here is it could be down to like 503 as well, right? It could be down to that. It could be anywhere between 505 and 503. That's what makes this a little bit difficult because it could be down to this right here, which is 503. So it might be sort of this slide lower into 503, 505, and then you're looking to see, does this previous level, do these previous levels, and do these previous highs right here, do they turn into support, right? We broke above those levels. We faded lower back into them, and we are looking to see if this now turns into a new low. If this fails to hold as a new low, and you get back below these highs, right, turn this back into a rejection, turn this back into a rejection, turn this, and then turn that, right, back into a rejection. If you see that, then you're moving lower, all right? So 503, 505, this is a big zone on Meta today. It's pretty much just consolidated here. You saw some buying stepping in yesterday. You're sort of right at that level. You're going to need that market strength for this to really push higher. So I would be watching this. It's an interesting spot, but you are going to need, right? Once again, guys, you're going to need this ESNQ to hold these areas. If the NASDAQ does not hold here, guys, then you're not going to get these pullback longs to set up. You're going to need deeper downside, okay? So interesting on Meta at 503, 505, but you need market confirmation before getting ballsy on that one. Amazon. Oh. Yeah, Amazon, that 180 level got smacked again, right? This 180 level just got smacked again. It smacked this thing. So you can see right here, right, 180 on Amazon, previous highs, and just look at that failure. Just a big-time failure of 180 on Amazon yesterday. You tried to get above it. You failed. You tried to get back above. You failed. A lot of drama above there. Later day, it cleaned up right here. Look at this. Look how clean that was later day. Look how clean that was later day. Right there. Bam. 180, bam. Right? So it cleaned up. It was messy early morning, but cleaned up later day right off that 180. Beautiful rejection stepping in late day. You're actually under the 178 level right now, which is slightly concerning. If you stay under 178, you're going to come down to this 176.50 very quickly. So, yeah, I would watch this 176.50 level. If you stay under 178 today, I would look for the fade into 176.50. If you stay under 178, okay? If you stay under here, you fade to 176.50. If you reclaim 178, you find strength again. All about this 178 level, in my opinion. Google, really nothing on Google. Actually, it's been a pretty quality hold. I'm not going to lie, right? You can see Google has now formed a pretty clear channel here, and I would just do nothing until it breaks one side. 147 to 151. I would wait for this channel to break. Apple, man, I don't know. You know, it's under attack by the DOJ. I personally want to say that this is a huge buying opportunity in Apple. All this drama around Apple, all this BS that's been going on around Apple feels like an opportunity. But it just hasn't even dropped that much to make it feel like an opportunity, right? Like, I think Apple will get out of all this mess, right? That's typically how this ends. I think I don't know if I want to get into my opinion on that DOJ lawsuit, but I think it's pretty dumb, man. I mean, it seems like they're just trying to take away, like, Apple's intellectual property in a way. Apple, I mean, I will admit, I am a lover of Apple products. I do like Apple products, and I think, you know, for different types of jobs, it's better. For me, as a content creator, it is impossible to do what I do without an Apple product. I can create a video, create a thumbnail, send it straight to my phone on AirPlay. I can send, you know, clips from my phone, AirPlay it onto my computer. I can copy and paste. I can copy something on my phone, and I can press Control V on my computer, and it knows that it's copied on my phone, right? So the ecosystem for me as a content creator is fantastic. I don't think it's possible to do what I do without it. Now, I get the you can't game on Apple. You know, some hardcore coding guys probably don't like Apple. So it all depends on what you do for a living, I think. But you know, for the DOJ to try to take away, it almost feels like they're trying to take away the supremacy of Apple and sort of dumb down their products to a level that other people can compete with. It's just sort of dumb. It's like totally against competitive. What is an industry without, you know, competition? And they're trying to take away the competition that Apple has sort of ran away with. So I don't like that. I think that's pretty stupid, to be honest. Get better, right? That would be my answer to Android. Get better, do better, right? That would be anyone's answer. If you are, whatever you guys do for a living, you know, if you are at the top of what you do, right? Let's say you are, let's say you're, I don't know. Let's say you guys are a really good restaurant. You own a really good restaurant. You own a really good something, and you're crushing it. You're just eating away the competition. No one can keep up with you. You're just absolutely on fire. And then, you know, someone comes in and says, we're going to sue you because you're too good. You're taking away opportunity for other people, and you're almost you're monopolizing your sector, which is, it just feels really stupid to me. So I don't like that this is happening for Apple. That's why in my mind I like it as an opportunity to actually take advantage of the drama, because I think it will return to its supremacy. But hey, who knows? It just doesn't feel like Apple's even fallen enough to make me want to load up on some shares, right? So if Apple was like down here and really tanking because of this, I'd probably be buying this all day. But it doesn't even feel like it's dropped enough to do that. So yeah, we'll see, man. It's an interesting lawsuit. That's not what an antitrust lawsuit is. I mean, if you read it, man, that's at least what, I mean, I'm just going off what I've read, man. I've read a lot about what it is. DOJ is angry with Apple's plan to dominate with CarPlay. Right? I mean, maybe I'm getting, this is maybe something wrong with our news outlets. Obviously we know that's a problem in our country. we're just reading headlines here. So maybe I need to do more information. So I need to do more research into exactly what it is. But from the headlines, my opinion on what I'm seeing is that the DOJ is not happy with how monopolized Apple has made its sector. And that is just because of how good their product is. And I don't see that as a problem. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But in terms of the stock, I'll go off with my tangent. I'll end my tangent there. You guys can have your own opinion. If you come here and watch my stream, I'll give you a little bit of my opinion. If you agree, great. If not, so be it. That's why we have opinions. We're all welcome to our own opinion on whatever is going on. So in terms of the stock, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's under pressure. It's just sort of a mess, and I have no interest in trading it. So that's my answer for you in terms of the stock. I'm not going to touch it, but yeah, let's continue. Coinbase. Really nice supply rejection yesterday on Coinbase, right? No one will ever sue the Giants for being too good. I don't know if that's a Giants joke or what that is, but I hope it was a Giants joke because I absolutely hate the Giants now. The Giants have tore my heart out. So you guys can see right here, 276. What a beautiful little double top fade on Coinbase yesterday. So really nice, right there. Really nice sort of 276 double top fade. I still think you need this pullback here before you can get interested on longing Coinbase. I would want this pullback right here to 245. That would be my spot to watch for Coinbase, 245. I already did SMCI. You missed it. You can go back after it ends. Let's go to Netflix. So Netflix it's just too sloppy, man. It's too sloppy to have any interest. Like you can't, this is something that I've, really focused on over the last few years. If you can't see it clearly, don't try to make up a story, okay? This is very important in trading, guys, because there is something called a confirmation bias, okay? A confirmation bias is when your brain tries to get you to agree with something that's possibly not even there, right? As human beings, all of us will want to try to build a case that we can agree with. We're comfortable agreeing with ourselves with something that we see. Don't try too hard to get a confirmation, okay? Don't try too hard. It should be easy to read. Netflix is a disaster for me. I don't like what's going on here. It's above it. It's below it. It's this. It's that. It's a little above. It's back below. It's right back up. It's just, it looks like Chinese to me here. This is what Netflix charts looks like to me. I have no idea what Netflix is going to do here. This is what I'm reading. This is what my mind is saying right now. So I have zero interest in this. Sometime in the future, it will clear up. It will present something very clear, and we'll grab it. But for now, if it's just something you don't quite see, and maybe something you see, maybe you see it, and that's good. I don't see it. So this is where I stay away from stocks, and I don't get involved, right? When I see a stock like Nvidia, right, this is easy. I see it, right? I see it very clearly. Instantly, I see what needs to happen on Nvidia. Instantly, I know we need to hold over this double top high, which turned into a low yesterday. This is easy to read. I could probably teach this right here to about anyone that just started trading. I could tell them, hey, you see where we were high on Tuesday? You see where we stopped going up on Wednesday? Do you see on Thursday how we kept it as a whole? We didn't break underneath it, right? This is very easy to explain to someone that, hey, we need to hold above this 905, and if we do, we could still move higher. But if we break under that 905, then it's very clear that this could drop, right? That's a very easy explanation for someone that maybe is not familiar. It needs to be this easy, okay? It needs to be this easy. It needs to be easy to read so that you can build that game plan, you can understand it, you can feel confident in it. You can't get into something that you're like, it looks all right. Maybe I like it. I don't quite know exactly what needs to happen here. That's a problem, okay? That's a very big problem. NASDAQ. All right, guys. So let's get a quick review of these futures here. I mean, you can see it with your own two eyes what's going on right now, right? That 18.5 is very, very important. This is your level to watch without a doubt. There is no question in my mind that 18.5 is your level to watch today. You can see what just happened off this level over the last 20 minutes. It was the perfect drop into that 18.5 level, and you can see it trying to hold. What's up, brother? What's up, brother? I like what we're doing here. So 18.5, that's the level. QQQ. I still think it's that 4. Yeah, it is that. It's, 444. Look at that. Look at 444. ES, we got to get back over 5,300 though, right? And then SPY has to get back over 522. Those are two must break back aboves that I would be looking for today. All right. What's my definition of a hold on the what you just saw on the NASDAQ, IT? Look, you can see it with your own two eyes right in front of you, right as you're on this live stream. That's a hold, right? This does not guarantee that you're moving higher. There's no such thing as this. There's no such thing as I am now 100% sure that we move higher. But this is your hold, right? Look at this. This is what you're looking for on the intraday to set up those trades. This is a very clear wick, right? A failed move lower, and a wick back above. This is a clear hold. That's what you look for, right? That's very clear right there. Now, that does not mean you can't go back lower, but for the short term, that is a hold. Sorry for cussing. Sorry for cussing. All right. I'm going to start saying that. That's all I got. It's Friday. I'm getting the hell out of here. I hope you guys have a fantastic trading day. If you guys could, please press that like button. We got 2,200 people here. We got 900 likes. If you guys could, press that like button for me before you head out, before you head off to your weekend. Be safe out there today. A little bit of drama out there. You got Jerome Powell that's speaking in about 8 minutes, so watch out for that. Got your levels you got your levels very set. It's very clear. Trade off of them. Trust them. Monitor them intraday. It's Friday. Don't do anything stupid. If you had a good week, don't mess it up. Take it slow today. Scale down. And I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out.